Zdravím přátelé, téměř po 313 dní tu máme announce ligy 3.26, bude to Atlas expanze a dneska je ten den, kdy se konečně dozvíme, co nás čeká. Vítám vás u této live reakce, dneska ji nahrávám sice offline, nejsem live na Twitchi, ale moji krásnou a pestrou reakci uvidíme. Tak, jak jsem říkal, jedná se o 3.26 ligu, je to expanzní liga, je to Atlas liga, takže uvidíme, co nás tam tedy čeká. A teďka na streamu momentálně na jejich live je drop, takže doufám, že ho získáte, pak se nezapomeňte claimnout. A uvidíme, co nás čeká. Přímě jsem po té dlouhé době jsem celkem natěšený. Ta hra mi poměrně dlouho chyběla, bylo to skoro rok, 313 dní je strašně velká doba a těším se a doufám, že nás tedy mile překvapí a já to ještě trochu slumím. Jdeme na to, jdeme na to. 100 000 lidí na to kouká.
It's certainly been too long since we had one of these. Now, we had some struggles as a studio for a little while there, but we've got our shit together and we're back in action now. Path of Exile Secrets of the Atlas is coming out 1 week from now on the 13th of June, and we're committing right now to a 4-month cycle for both PoE1 and 2. That means the next PoE2 league will be in August, and the next PoE1 league after that will be in October.
Takže čtyřměsíční cyklus is back in the action. Což je po mně dobrá změna. To je věc, která mě poměrně tížila. A pokud to oni dodrží, lépe pro nás, lépe pro nás. Jinak to, ta kvalita dneska na tom streamu mají to loknutý, jo. Každopádně na to. Kidák? Oh. Zana? Oh my god. Rodina její? What the hell?
These manifestations must be destroyed. Their threads must be eradicated.
Takhle to je sax, ty voho. To s tím něco dělám. To je škoda.
We must find the originator. We must save my sister.
Takže to je jeho sestra, jo. OK. Secret of the Atlas. New endgame mechanics. Pinnacle boss. Crafting, že jo. King March. To se věděl, že bude. Rune crafting. Je teda reworked. No. Liga asi? Oh my gosh. Ta Aninka. OK. Secrets. Trochu mě mrzí ta kvalita, no.
I'm Mark Roberts, game director on
To mě trochu mrzí.
As you just saw from the trailer, there's a lot to show you. Today, we will take you on a deep dive into the new Path of Exile Secrets of the Atlas in-game update. Then, we'll explore the new challenge.
Takže máme tam tu challenge, jak jsem zmiňoval v tom minulém videu.
After that, we'll cover the integration of gold into PoE1 and how we're bringing Settlers of Kalgur into the core game. Finally, we have a much-awaited upgrade to Betrayal League and a set of quality of life improvements. Then, we'll wrap up by discussing our boss kill race event,
showing you our new supporter packs, and ending with a live Q&A session, where Ziggy D will ask Jonathan and I your questions from Twitch chat. In Path of Exile Secrets of the Atlas, strange rifts have begun to appear across the Atlas. Zana has returned and appears to be trapped within. Partway through the endgame, you will meet Egan, an intelligent man of mysterious heritage. These tears in reality he has discovered are actually threads of memory, distorted and made real by the Atlas. Egan is able to create a link to these memory threads and open portals to them. Working with Egan, you must step through and find Zana, or whatever remains of her. Okay, so that's the story background, but how does this expansion actually work? In the Secrets of the Atlas, the pursuit of Zana with Egon is a new storyline that is introduced in high-tier maps. Upon meeting Egan and discovering the tier, he will then transfer it to your map device and reveal this on your atlas, a thread of memories. In order to now access each map on the thread, you simply need to talk to Egan when you're ready, and he'll open the areas in sequence. These areas can be fully influenced by your atlas tree, scarabs, fragments, and everything of the sort. As you work your way along the thread, you will discover that these maps have manifested dangerous threats, influenced by the memories of Zana herself. Monsters here are imbued with memory petals. Defeat them to absorb this power, which can be unleashed as a special ability during combat. Different maps on the thread have different abilities, and these abilities appear on an additional mini skill bar next to your regular skills. For example, Memory of Disbelief will cause all affected monsters to stop dropping equipment items, meaning they can now only drop more valuable items, like currency and maps. Memory of Panic will make all affected monsters revive immediately after death, which means you can get twice as much experience and drops from them. And Memory of Impatience will cause all surrounding enemies to give you their souls, temporarily increasing your power. As you progress further into the thread of memories, the maps can have more than one memory, and thus you can have more than one powerful ability. As you gather memory petals, you can use these powers together. Each skill costs its own amount of memory petals. So using the examples above, you can first use Memory of Impatience to become way more powerful, then use Memory of Panic to prepare them to revive when they are slain, then use Memory of Disbelief to cause them to drop better, more valuable items. Finally, obliterate them all.
Ta mechanika je podobná trochu toho Sentinelu, jak si pamatujete. My jsme Sentinel nás v podstatě polovoval a používali jsme ho na určitý varianty, teda na určitý peky a tak dále. Je to podobný systém, jo. Ale tam bude ten základní to, že jo.
This altar will apply a modifier to all following maps in the thread, and these will stack as you go. So the deeper you delve into a memory, the more mods you will have. This, combined with the special abilities, will allow for some of the most juice maps ever run in Path of Exile. Let's take a look at some of the altar mods. You are always presented with two choices and must pick one.
No cost.
This mod, for example, will cause some rare monsters to be possessed by
Je dobrý, že nám to dává pozitivní buffy. Jo, tedy, že monstra jsou posesnutý, anebo že map mod je free. Jo.
The final map in each thread is a true challenge, with all the altar mods applying to it and guarded by a powerful boss. Each of these bosses are familiar, but dreamlike, drawn from Zana's memories and warped by the Atlas into something very different and terrifying. In this map, you will find the pinnacle boss, Ceres. Fueled by Zana's affectionate memories of him, his enhanced abilities can prove to be a unique challenge. If you manage to defeat Ceres, or one of the other warped memory bosses, they will drop a map fragment, which Egan can use to delve deeper into the memory tiers. With these, you can access a set of 3 new pinnacle bosses.
Pinnacle bosses.
In this arena, the Moment of Reverence, Zana is reliving a memory of her father, Valdo, giving a passionate speech in Oriath. The Atlas distorts this memory of her father as a powerful, influential man and manifests those emotions into a twisted nightmare, the incarnation of dread.
Ta arena je strašně velká, teda to bude strašně těžký fight, co budeš mít majdanč.
And the incarnation of fear. Good luck, exiles.
Bosse v jednici uměl dělat vždycky. To prostě, to bylo... To je to, co vždycky uměli. Tak, nová influence, nové unique items. Starfall on melee critical strike.
We're gonna show this one because it's straight up badass. The Starcaller acts as a weapon that can harness the power of the stars themselves.
What the fuck? Hvězdopád, vole, hvězdopád.
What makes it shine, however, is that on melee crit, it casts Starfall, a new skill. With the right build, you can carpet entire areas and wipe out screens of enemies as you rain down the elements upon them. Another item you may find, and this one is my favorite, is the
random divination buff for 20 seconds when you use.
A lot of charges,
What the
but every
hell?
time you use it, you draw a random divination card. This card appears above you and correlates to a powerful buff. If you draw the escape card, you'll gain increased movement speed. Or maybe you'll draw the Doctor, which will cause you to gain the modifiers of slain rares you kill.
Ta interakce je skvělá. To je hodně dobrý nápad. Jo.
There are many cards to draw, each with varying degrees of power to grant. Okay, but let's get back to the Atlas. After defeating all 3 new pinnacle bosses, you'll be able to find new memory-influenced Tier 16 maps. These maps come with the previously mentioned special abilities and monsters infused with memory petals, but can also roll the same modifiers typically found on Tier 17 maps, making them far more rewarding. With all these new memory maps comes a new item mechanic. Items in these maps can drop with memory strands, and will have a random amount up to 100. This does a few things. When you identify the item, it will increase the tiers of modifiers your item has. Generally speaking, the more memory strands, the better the item will be. On top of this, whenever you're crafting that item using currency orbs to replace or add modifiers, such as alterations, chaos, and so forth, it will consume some memory strands to make the crafted mods more powerful. The new pinnacle bosses also drop new crafted currencies, which can be used to manipulate the amount of memory strands on an item. The Orb of Remembrance will let you add memory strands to any normal equipment. So if you have your perfect base to craft on, and it doesn't already have...
To bude strašně drahý a pokud budeš chtít třeba hitnout nějaký mod, tak tam budeš ládovat prostě.
All remaining memory strands on an item to randomly upgrade its mod tiers. This orb's effectiveness is based on the number of memory strands it consumes. The Orb of Intention can be used on memory influence maps to reduce item drops, but improve the chance to find items with memory strands.
To je zajímavý.
In the process of adding these new currency items, we realized something was missing. The Shaper and the Elder did not have their own Exalted Orbs. This has now been rectified. Both bosses now have Exalted Orbs, which can add their influence to an item. Zana was there from the beginning, when the Shaper Pinnacle fight was first added. She helped defeat the Elder, and she was a critical part of the Conqueror's storyline. Now, with all 6 influence types having
Tady tu změnu víme, že jo, to announcovali v Quality of Life.
Some sort of new, epic, unique item to interact with. In other news, there of course has to be Atlas passive tree support for this new in-game content. Let's take a look at a few things we're adding. The Grasp the Past notable passive skill increases
the memory strands found lucky. Dobrý, budeš farmit itemy, které prostě budou mít 100, jo. Ale to maximálně tak v early gameu, jo, protože ten downside tam je to, že máš chytneš dobrý tier, why not, ale na endgame crafting teď házíte druhý orb.
Meaning you'll have better chances at finding the memory threads you would like to run. This is especially useful if you want to target farm a specific boss because of its unique item drops. In sum, the secrets of the Atlas will have you questioning what is real as you attempt to free Zana from warped memories scattered throughout the Atlas. You'll fight new Guardian and Pinnacle bosses tormenting her, find crazy new Pinnacle uniques, combine and unleash memory petal-empowered skills, juice maps to new heights, and craft powerful new items. While we were showing all the juicy rewards from the new endgame system, you might have noticed that a lot of gold was dropping. Let's talk about that. Gold was introduced during the Settlers of Kalgur expansion. It funded the development and operations of King's March, along with various new features such as the currency exchange, the black market,
Gamba.
and the passive respec system with Faustus.
To jsem moc nepoužíval, protože to bylo pro mě drahý a ty goldy já využívám ve dvou případech.
Along with some of the other services King's March has to offer. We'll get more into that later, but don't worry. King's March has already been completed. There will be no more town building.
No
Like
more
before,
town building.
Gold will be used
Okay.
for town services, but we're also adding a new way to use it in the upcoming league.
Dobrý.
It's time
Tak.
to talk about Mercenaries of Trathus.
Challenge Liga. Challenge Liga.
Veterans who have traveled all the way from the lawless cities of Trathus. They're ready to
Mercenaries
offer their
of
sinister
Trathus.
services, but not for free. You will encounter these mercenaries as you journey through Rayclast, one in each area. They have their own personalities and come with different builds,
ten vypadá badass.
skills,
Má dobrý
and
armor,
items
to bychom
already
nebylo.
equipped. After meeting them, as per the Trathan code, they will challenge you to a duel, a test of strength and conviction. Before beginning the duel, you will be offered an overview of the mercenary you've encountered. Here, you can see the gear they have equipped, the skills they employ, and any support effects augmenting those skills. You must now make a choice. You can hire their services, take one of their items,
Take
or
items.
exile them. If you choose to hire them, for a gold cost, they will accompany you as a skilled combatant to assist you in fighting monsters throughout Rayclast.
Něco jako Einhard, co jsme zvyklí, že jo?
This is a great opportunity to
Fight
test them, as you don't want to be out of pocket with a useless rookie. However, they're testing you too. They also don't want to be working for an amateur. So, what items might they be using? Generally speaking, mercenary gear is more powerful than what you'd normally find from defeating monsters, as they've been crafting their items too. They can also come equipped with unique items. Those that would make
Bude mít
sense
Mage
from
Blood nebo
skills
Headhunter,
they're
vole.
There are even some new unique items that can only be obtained from defeating them.
Oh.
One such unique is Scornflux. These boots combine agility with the mastery of the arcane. While equipped, increases to cast speed from Arcane Surge also apply to movement speed, which is worth noting is now 20% inherently from Arcane Surge, up from 10.
Mají zajímavý teda, mají zajímavý skilly nějaký tady, Seismic Crash, tak dále. Bloody Wrap.
Sometimes you may meet particularly infamous Trathan
Jo, je
mercenaries.
135 000 lidí to
bearing the name
sleduje.
of their house.
To
These
šťastný.
mercenaries descend from the four major death trade families in Trathus. They are less common, but have far better items. And they are also the sole source of items with new, infamous modifiers, unseen before in Rayclast, such as these gloves, which
Ooh.
convert all of your
One
minions'
vertical
fire
damage to
chaos
chaos.
damage. Or this helmet, which causes nearby enemies to take more physical damage as you gain more fortification.
Co, dobrý tam je.
If you're not swayed by any of their equipped gear, however, you can always challenge them for the contents of their pockets. If you lose the duel, don't worry. You don't need to give them an item. You aren't bound to Trathan tradition like they are. However, you are bound to Rayclast tradition, so you'll just die.
Almost had me. Well, not really.
Ty zabíjáš
While
zde.
playing in a party, each player can decide whether or not they want to participate in combat against the mercenary. For each player that opts in, the mercenary gets more difficult. But if they're defeated, each player has a 50% chance to get a random reward, which is usually currency items from the mercenary's pouch. Alternatively, party members that opt out of the fight can spectate and cheer you on. Or they might wish for your demise, so they can pick up that allocated divine waiting off screen.
Dead. Good.
Ti to ukradl
Let's say
item,
you
vole.
want to do
Haha, to je
their
dobrý.
items
To je
and
dobrý, to se
decided to
mi
hire
líbí.
them. What combat skills do they bring to
To je,
the
to,
table?
to je vtipný, to budou dobrý klipy, ty
Each
jo.
mercenary has an archetype. Here, this mercenary is an eruptor, which perfectly couples with my slower, more aura-focused scion. This mercenary is highly aggressive, and will get a lot of benefit from the auras and buffs I provided.
Počkej, to se objeví v Bleachi?
When I'm playing a more aggressive character myself though,
Teda
I'll want a
Bleachstone?
mercenary with a
No.
bit more resilience and utility. I've just run into a striker, who can spawn with Vigilant Strike. And if you're lucky, a very rare golden support that causes the fortify granted by his Vigilant Strike to apply to me as well. He will also frequently use Enduring Cry, taunting enemies with me, and
Ono se zdá, že třeba najmout ho je blbost, jo,
Sometimes
ale to budeš strašně powerful, když se budou grandit na začátku mapy, budeš mít low gear, jo, tak on ti prostě v té mapě dá carry. Jo, takže to nebude pak, ano, pokud budeš mít turbo build, tak jako no problém, jo.
But up to 3 total in your service. The other 2 will wait patiently in town. Having varied options is useful, as there may be situations where you need specific backup, like a difficult boss fight. Any of your mercenaries you have active, or in your reserves,
To až
can
budeš
have their equipment
vytunit,
replaced
jo.
with items of your choosing.
Ty vole,
Don't
to je
level
dobrý.
up, so you will want to be looking out for more skilled and more powerful mercenaries as you advance through the campaign and endgame. If your mercenary falls in combat, you will need to return to town and spend some gold on healing supplies to get them back on their feet. Then perhaps consider giving them some upgrades, if you think it's deserved. I just wanted to clarify, mercenaries do not lose their equipment when defeated.
Dobrý.
If your merc buddy consistently fails you, you can just dismiss them and find a new, more resilient ally.
You walk your path, I'll walk mine.
Earlier, I mentioned you could exile mercenaries. If you keep running into a mercenary archetype and you think, man, this guy stinks, their gear is trash and they have no auras, you can then choose to exile them. If you win the duel, they'll be forced to leave with their tail between their legs, and you won't encounter that archetype again for a while.
Currently types exiled for 9 encounters.
Now, alongside these new Trathan arrivals,
Jako liga jednodušší, to chceme při Atlas expanzi, nemám s tím žádný problém. Jo, dává pozitiva, pomáhá hráči, líbí se mi, tam jsou různé varianty.
Black market item gambling, previously just available in Kingsmarch, is now available in each town at the same price.
Cool, to je dobrý.
This lets you buy randomly generated item bases for gold. Very useful if you're stuck for upgrades or searching for a specific unique. The currency exchange will be returning too. Starting from Wildman's Watch in Act 6, you'll be able to find Faustus, who can help facilitate these trades. Now, after almost a year of building, Johan is finally satisfied with the
Almost year of building, ty vole. To si udělali v prdel, tak to je hodně dobrý.
Kingsmarch is going core, but there will be no more town building.
Tak, je to v koru,
As you
nestavíš.
start running maps in the endgame, you'll start to find different ore veins, which Kalguran workers can mine for you. The shipping mechanic invites you to send these ores and crops to Karui and Kalguran ports, and they'll return rewards in kind. By sending shipments, you'll receive different items, but by sending to Karui ports, you will also receive tattoos, which can be used on your passive tree to change what stats they grant. The Kalguran ports will be sending back rune grafts, which is a new passive tree mechanic that replaces the runesmithing service previously offered by the town. These are similar to tattoos, but instead of replacing stat nodes, they replace a passive tree mastery node. For
Teďka to
example,
můžeš.
Runegraft of the Bound reduces bonuses gained from boots, but increases bonuses gained from gloves. Runegraft of the River has a chance to recover your life to full if you reach low life. And the Runegraft of Time, which has a chance for your cooldown skills to instantly recover from their cooldown, which I will note includes cooldowns on your triggers, just in case you wanted to trigger even more
Custom
spells.
crit.
There are many other Runegrafts which cover a wide range of different builds and stats.
Increase global
Some are
defense
more common
40.
and others
Wow.
rare. You can only
To je
use one
hodně.
of a given
To je
type at a
dobrý.
time, but you can use them on any mastery on your passive tree, which can be particularly useful for off-class investment. Isla has continued to make modifications to the
To je
recovery.
dobrý, to zase
She has
pomáhá
developed a new
nějaký ty
method of
tom
recombination
power
you
creepu,
may
že jo,
recognize from Path of
kdy
Exile 2.
člověk může nějak reagovat.
For those
Ten
unfamiliar,
global defense
this
je
method
fakt,
allows you
je
to
fakt
decide
silný.
which modifiers on the two input items you want to try merge together,
Oh,
and it has a success chance you can see.
wow.
This method can result in the items being destroyed. However, it is a good option to use when
Tohle,
trying to create
tohle je hodně
items
dobrý, že
you
ukazuje
will
šanci
often use
toho.
in crafting projects.
Tohle.
Given the existing recombinating mechanic was very powerful for top-end crafting, we didn't want to remove it. We have kept it, and you can now choose to use it the old way or the new way. By letting fate decide, it will combine the two items randomly. There is no risk of destroying either item, but it will be less predictable.
Upřímně, rekombinátor
As
se
Atlas is
nepochopil.
now a core mechanic, we've
Ani
also
při
added
té
Atlas
lize
passage trees to
v Sentinelu to bylo, myslím.
For example,
Tak
if you
marši,
wanted to
nevyužíval
gather
jsem to.
Orthorhisium ore, you could take this notable. Each ore has a similar node. Refiner's Bargain converts items dropped by possessed monsters into thaumaturgic dust, sulfite into random ores, and life force into random crops. We've also added a set of Kalguran
Jo,
stones,
no,
so you can add more ore
karabi.
deposits, increase the rarity of monsters that guard ore deposits to at least magic.
Lidi asi budou využívat ten lodičky, že jo, přece jenom lidi to farmili jak pěsilí, že jo.
Kingsmarch is now a thriving town where you can employ a swath of workers to
Ale
gather
asi jsem
resources,
spokojený
refine
s tím, jak to
ores,
funguje teďka.
craft items, and run maps for you. Send shipments of resources in exchange for tattoos and rune grafts, using those to modify your passive tree to an extent never seen before. Following on from that, we've also made
Jako
a substantial
Settlers
rework to
nemám
another
nic
important
proti.
mechanic.
Jo, takhle se mi to líbí. Goldy můžu využívat ať už na flipy nebo na ten gamble, to už záleží dle využití, že jo.
Betrayal is a mechanic introduced in Act 9 and tells the story of Jun Ortoy and her
Tak,
investigation
ukáž
of the
Betrayal.
Immortal Syndicate. This is a mysterious group of exiles who can seemingly come back from death. You must help Jun to uncover their leader, the Syndicate Mastermind. The Immortal Syndicate is organized into 4 divisions: transportation,
Jo, to je vysvětluju. Každopádně Betrayal
and intervention.
za mě o mě oblíbená
As you
mechanika,
encounter the
hrají
Immortal
často.
Syndicate members, you'll gain intelligence from each of these divisions to discover the
Bailujou tam
location
ty
of
itemy, že jo, padne vám itemy, musíte Jun. Poslední Quality of Life byl takový, že ty itemy už můžeme normálně revealovat bez Junky. Jo, to asi teďka ukážou.
You'll manipulate the members of the Immortal Syndicate to change divisions, form friendships and rivalries, and even banish them from the Syndicate for a time. Historically, after encountering
Jo,
and defeating the
Katarina,
Syndicate
finální
Mastermind,
boss.
the state of the Immortal Syndicate would reset, requiring you to start from the beginning of the investigation again. This has always been a difficult decision for players and can often feel bad. Do you fight the Mastermind for a chance at the special loot, or keep farming the safe houses that you've spent so long setting up? Well, in the Secrets of the Atlas expansion, we've split out the Mastermind to be completely separate from the core mechanic. The boss is now accessible through a new fragment that has a chance to drop from the safe house leaders at high levels. The Mastermind
dobrý.
no longer resets the state of the Immortal Syndicate. You can now build your betrayal board to your liking, optimize it, do Mastermind fights, and reap the rewards without having to lose all your progress every time.
Můžeš takhle chodit k
The boss
Reakce se
fight itself
furt,
has
že jo.
also been improved, now with significantly fewer immunity phases and new rewards.
New reward.
By the way, if you're a new player to Path of Exile 1, don't worry about all this detail. This content is optional, and you can discover and engage with it at your own pace. The Mastermind still has a chance to drop a Veiled Orb, now renamed to Veiled Exaltador. Veiled Chaos Orbs are being re-added to other Safe House leaders. In addition, the Mastermind now drops the new All Flame Embers.
All Flame is back?
Are map fragments that replace monster packs and in-game maps with different types of
my
special monsters.
gosh.
These packs have unusual properties, compositions, or rewards. For example, you
Ty
might
vole,
use the
All Flame
All
jsou
Flame
zpátky.
Ember of Coolerman,
Tak to
which
je
replaces packs
masakr,
with
ty
certain
vole.
monsters and their leaders, who revive after the map boss has been slain. This might at first sound annoying due to backtracking, but these monsters when revived are far more intense and rewarding. It is our intention with All Flames to provide many different types that combine with other mechanics, multiplying with your existing modifiers in new and interesting ways. Another good example of this is the All Flame Ember of Propagation. When slain, special rare monsters added by this All Flame here will spread their modifiers to other rare monsters in the map. This can be useful when trying to create singular, very powerful, and very rewarding monsters. Something akin to meat sacks, which are making a reinvented comeback with this update too. Another is the All Flame Ember of Resplendence, which adds monsters that drop no items. But when you slay them, you get buff stacks of increased quantity and rarity to enhance the drops of all other monsters. All Flame Embers can be placed in your map device like scarabs, and used in conjunction with
Ještě máš
flames to
limit,
further
ty vole.
customize your maps. We're
Dobrý.
looking forward to seeing which combinations players find to enhance their maps. Perhaps you'll use all scarabs, all flames.
Tohle dává momentálně strašně moc možností, jak to hrát. Tyjo, to je šílený.
Mastermind's unique items have
Ty
also been
Offlamey.
improved.
Offlamey přišly vlastně s čím? S Necropolisem, myslím. Nahrazovali peky a tak dále.
Bitter Bind Point, for example, can now have various Spectre-specific outcomes, such as +1 additional Spectre. Aside from improved rewards from the Mastermind, all the Safe House rewards have also been
Akorát do
removed.
té itemy můžeš
We've done a
točit, jo.
pass on the crafting
Rough
sprees at the
pot,
end of many safe houses. For those who aren't aware how these crafting sprees work, well, it's
Dobrý.
simple. There's a crafting bench with an item in it and a bunch of currency. There's a limited amount of time.
Ty
but
ho
only
může... Orb
objective
of
is to grab the
Conflict?
best items
Wow.
before
Tak
the time
tady to
ends.
se, tady to bude drají jak
One of the
svině,
problems that
ty
the
vole.
crafting sprees have is
Točit
that they
to,
often require you to
to je
have
masakr.
specific items on
Tady ty
hand
změny jsou dobrý
in
a ten
order
čas,
to
jo.
maximize your
Tam je
results.
nějakých, tam jsi minutu plus, jo, nějaký kolik, 90 sekund.
Most of the crafting sprees now
Mapy,
offer
jo.
pre-generated items. This has also allowed us to add much more powerful
Ty
crafting
vole, ty
options
to tam
in this
začneš tu mapu na to.
Let's take a look at a
To je
few
taky dobrý.
examples. In this spree, a randomly generated amulet or ring will be waiting.
Reflection tam máš, to si děláš.
Test your crafting skill or luck with this reflecting mist crafting spree and
Wow.
see if you can create something worthy of Kalandra's praise. And in this spree, you will find a pre-generated unique item and a new kind of orb that resembles a Val orb, but not quite the same. You can only corrupt an item once, but uniques in this spree can be corrupted and re-corrupted as many times as there are orbs.
Jo, to je dobrý, ty vole.
This orb also allows you to get 2 corrupted implicits and has a much lower chance to brick the item. It can be a very useful tool for seeking specific
To je
corrupted
prostě ty
implicit
gamba tady to.
items.
Tam
Of
dáš,
course, if you push your luck, you can still ruin the item.
no jasně, no, akorát.
There are also crafting sprees where you still need to provide an item, but those items are generally more
Swap.
accessible and it occurs less frequently. This one allows you to bring your own normal rarity item, then just go ballistic with a whole ton
Tyhle.
of scouring orbs and orbs of chance, hoping to get your ideal unique. For most sprees, the rank of the syndicate member increases the amount of currency provided, the quality of the pre-generated items, and the time allowed to craft your item.
To je dobrý tady
Aside
to.
from the crafting sprees, there are other new options too.
Přidává tam čas, není tam žádná jakože časový pres.
Just like the Emperor's Luck Divination card and provide full stacks of currency. If you're lucky enough, unlike me, you could end up with a whole lot of divines.
To je taky dobrý.
Betrayal is a good source of veiled
A
items.
hlavně teďka tu Katarínu můžeš mít furt setup, si hodit, můžeš mít kravičů setup a můžeš chodit prostě tu Katarínu, protože tam je ten token, nebo ten fragment.
so you don't need to run Betrayal to unlock them. They are
So
instead
the-
found at the entrances to boss rooms and in-game maps. On top of that, you no longer need to speak to Jun to unveil
Já
items.
to jsem říkal, že
You can
už
just right-click them, or the equivalent on gamepad, and select which veiled modifier you want to unveil. Overall, Betrayal is now much more streamlined and more rewarding. Happy interrogations.
Betrayal fun, že jo. Pokud někoho bavil Teka Betrayal, tak tahle změna je masivní a bude ho bavit ještě víc. Je tam větší variabilita,
Now, before we get into
je
our
tam
quality of
větší,
life additions, let's
jsou tam větší možnosti a je tam i čas
We
prostě
will be doing
vykraftit
our regular
nějaký
character balance
zajímavé
changes,
věci.
where we are bringing allies in line to help evolve the meta, but we are also focusing our attention on buffing some specific things. This includes spellcasting supports that specifically enhance self-casting builds, channeled spells,
Já vím, to opět změněnej.
options to the Guardian, Berserker, Elementalist, Saboteur, and Champion Ascendancy classes, which include some favorites from some of the alternate classes
Project,
from Reakce
ty vole,
Expanze,
sabotér.
and buffing a whole bunch of transfigured gems that never really hit the mark.
Hmm.
Combined with the new endgame crafting, improved betrayal crafting options, rune graphs for your passive tree, new pinnacle unique items, new modifiers and Trathan gems from the mercenaries, and of course the mercenaries themselves to act as an extension to your character, it's safe to say there's a lot of new character options and builds to think about. Instead of delving into all of these in more detail, we figured we'd just let you absorb them through the patch notes so you can do it at your own pace. In the Secrets of the
Quality
Atlas
of
expansion,
life.
we've also added a lot of the quality of life features that we know you've all been asking for. A lot of these have already been posted, but let's take a look now in case you missed any.
Někdy jsme viděli,
You
ukáž
can
se
now
s vámi
pause the
jmenuji ho.
game at any time by pressing escape to open the menu. Or
Jasný.
by opening any full screen interface,
Tohle-
like the passive tree.
Tohle je dobrý pro
You'll
lidi,
also be
že jo,
paused if any
pause
lag is
efekt.
detected, or if you disconnect.
Jsem já, že jo, utočil to poprvé a oblíbil jsem si ho, že jo. Jo. Samozřejmě to jde úplně do bossů, že jo, to zase dává smysl. Jo. Tady kraftění těch stromboxů, super záležitost. Stačí to mít inventáři, why not? Jo, tato mechanika je vlastně v PoE1, mám takový pocit. To je super, tady to. To se mi velmi líbí, se mi líbí.
Orbs of Horizon have been updated. They can now reroll your Elder and Conqueror Guardian maps.
Tady to
Doing
šlo
so
taky
will reroll
dlouho.
the base map and the Guardian of that map. The map device now has a small additional inventory. This is particularly useful if you're rolling many maps to run in
Tohle je dobrý,
sequence,
připravíš si mapy
or if you
a
want
pojedeš, že jo.
varying amounts of scarabs
Jo.
or other map fragments.
Mohl být větší ten slot,
During
ale
breach encounters,
to už je
all the splinters
detail,
will
že jo, důležitý to něco takového je.
dropped at the end of the breach.
Ty sprinty jsou taky super,
On
bleach.
gamepads, we have separated the targeting of monsters and non-monsters, so you are able to target them independently. This removes a bunch of frustration when you are trying to interact with objects in the world and monsters are nearby.
Frustration.
You no longer have to kill all of them first. Vendor windows will now remember your last search. This
Ten
is
last
remembered
search a ještě
through
25
logout and is
charakterů
remembered on a
pro lidi,
page
kteří
basis.
pracují s tím Reakcem.
The amount of characters you can type in the search field has also been increased. When using currency items,
To je
after
taky
right-clicking them,
velmi
it will highlight
už
all other items which
povedený
are currency
quality of
convenience.
life, i když se nikomu to nemusí zdát, lidi používají ty Reakci,
There are many other quality of life
aka ty
improvements,
filters,
so
prostě,
keep an eye on the patch notes after this live stream concludes.
jo, patch.
Alongside the launch of Secrets of the Atlas, we are hosting a competitive event where players will race to be the first to kill the new pinnacle
To v
bosses.
podstatě máme, když je jakákoliv expanze, tak tam vždycky byl závod, všichni víme, kdo to vyhraje, že jo. Teda asi bez debat.
We have some interesting prizes in store for the winners. Keep an eye on the news in the lead up to launch for more
Tady asi
details
bez
about
debat,
how the
že to
event
vyhraje
will go
Ben.
and what its prizes are.
Ale pro ty
Next
streamery
up,
to je dobrý, že
we're
jo.
going to be talking about our new League supporter packs.
New supporter packs.
Today, we're launching two new series of supporter packs. The Frisian Magistrate and Crypt Keeper packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive
Jako
microtransactions.
neplánuju si kupovat
As
supporter
always,
pack,
the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or
ale
progression.
dopadnou to mi všelijak, že jo, všichni mě znám,
The Frisian
Ukaž, ukaž,
Magistrate
ukaž.
series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
ten set vypadá.
Frisian Magistrate character effect will bind your character in thorny vines and roses. You can select which parts of the character you want to have covered. either your entire body, your lower body, or your upper body. As you approach waypoints, it will emit leaves and golden petals towards it. When activating the waypoint, it will create a burst around you. Envelop your weapon in thorny vines and golden flora with the Frisian Magistrate weapon effect. Your weapon will also create a trail to match as you swing, and even comes with its own hit effect when slaying enemies. You are the law, while wearing the armor of the powerful Frisian Grand Magistrate. The Spider Blossom Pet activates its defense mechanism, disguising it as an elegant flower when near rare or unique enemies. The Frisian Imperial Magistrate back attachment comes in two forms. Equip either the Tombstone variant, which will leave tombstones in your honor when you meet your demise, or equip the Cape variant to cause the corpses of slain enemies to become enveloped in rosethorn vines with golden flowers. Keep track of how well, or poorly, your ultimatums with the Trial Master have gone with the Trials of Chaos hideout decoration. It will keep track of the total number of waves completed, the total number of ultimatums succeeded, or even failed. On top of that, it will track the total number of times you've defeated the Trial Master himself. The Crypt Keeper Pack series also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
To je ten víc pestřejší než ten prvotní.
The Crypt Keeper finisher effect, death itself will tear through into the realm and steal the soul of slain unique enemies.
To vypadá jako z blíče. To vypadá krutě.
Effect creates a gateway for lost souls to pass through.
Tak vypadá hustě tady to.
Become the true master of the undead by wearing the hallowed Crypt Keeper armor set.
Ta helma.
It comes with a more armored helmet variant and a creepy mask with a spectral hood.
Ježiško, to jo.
Looking to have some fun during idle time in your hideout? The Burrowing Bramble Bash hideout decoration will test your reaction speed. You try to whack as many devourer heads as possible in the shortest time.
Taky to byla sranda. Tohle je jakože fun, že?
Try to set new records to show off to your friends or just visitors coming to trade. Equip yourself with the ghostly dead as you ride the line between the living and the dead with the sacred Crypt Keeper attachment. The Sacred Archives map device resembles a magical library with the works of scholars that come to life when you open it.
To je mega velký hideout, abys tam tohle... To ukazuje complete, tak je dobrý. Ten druhý je takový pestřejší, no. Ten druhý, jako. Ten druhý je takový víc pestrý, no.
Any microtransactions from the supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 2. Meanwhile, the Paladin and Penance packs leave the store forever at the launch of the Mercenaries of Trathus.
Forever.
So now's your last chance to purchase them.
Forever.
Additionally, the Dawn of the Hunt mystery box will be made available for Path of Exile 1.
Jo, jsou ty bedny z jedničky, ne? Ta z dvojky.
You will of course immediately have access to them in Path of Exile 1. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D.
No.
Afterwards, we'll post the full patch notes for Path of Exile, Secrets of the Atlas.
140 000, veslo to. Jo. Halo.
End of next week, our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for the release.
Crucial information.
Thanks for joining us today.
Tak.
Checking out our latest developments. We're looking forward to dueling mercenaries, fighting new pinnacle bosses in the endgame, and exploring the new crafting systems and character builds next week. We'll begin the Q&A shortly.
Jak jsem to seká klukům, ale to nevadí. Tak. Mám tady ten jejich... Ještě se podívám do shopu, jak vypadají ty paky, jestli mají tady. Jo. To se nějak seká. Tak. Takže. Teďka máme Ziggy moc poslouchat do bodu, budu tam nahrávat. Každopádně start 13. Jo. Nová story, která nás seznámí s Sezanou, možná s její historií a tak dále. Takže k tomu asi nemám nic. Je to nový styl na základě memory, jak jsme viděli, které nás prováží tím atlasem a následně vlastně plníme ty mise, ty pointy postupně a tady nakonec máme ten fight, jo, to je v podstatě ten endgame. To se mi líbí, nic proti tomu a jsou tam nové možnosti, jo, a plus se dozvíme i něco o té Zaně. Zana je velice oblíbený charakter a následně v těch mapách pak pracujeme s takzvanýma buffama, když to takhle nazvu, to je přesný název, ten si rozhodně nepamatuju, jestli to mají tady někde nazvaný, jak se to jmenuje. Threads asi? Each memories with the threads will grant you different special ability. Jo, takže aka threads umožňuje to buffnout ty atky, který následně použijeme skrz ty ikonky. Je to obdobná mechanika v podstatě u toho Sentinelu, co jsme my kdysi zažili. Jo, jednou řečeno, máte pack před sebou, popnete tam ten threads, ten efekt tady skrz toho a následně se ten efekt, co tam je, aplikuje na ten pack. Samozřejmě číslo říká, kolik možných mobů to může afektnout a tak dále. Takže to je v podstatě ta mechanika. Samozřejmě máme tam ty nové Pinnacle bosse. Teď tam myslím, že ten vypadá krutě, ty ty runy, ty zóny, ta zóna. Tady ten tam byl, to je ten chlapík, to je ten bratr Zany, mám takový pocit, ne? Myslím, že to avizovali tam něco. Takový ta arenka se hodně líbí tady tam. A jo, tady je Zana, je to její bratr, nebo... Myslím, že to je bratr. Tak to začátku jsem si to otce, myslím, že tam říkali bratr. Každopádně, myslím, že 3 nový Pinnacle bosse. Tak, jsou tady nějaký nový uniky, jo, nějaký nový možnosti. Tady tu sekerku jsme viděli, že jo, ten Star for or melee crit, takže nějaký Cyclone Cock. Buff z Divination karty, ty se to použije, rychlost a tak dále, takový fun item. Strengths, nebo memory strengths, nová mechanika z nového endgameu. To signalizuje, že jakmile máme vysokou hodnotu, hodí se tam tier 1 a postupem se to snižuje. Myslím, že to je něco obdobného, jako bylo Last Epochu. Ne, tam nějak ta mechanika, tady jsou ty věci, že konzumují ty embranty a tak dále. Jo, pracují to s tím trendem, takže to a tady nové item, který tam nebyl ukázaný. HPčka, strength, fire resist, take fire damage, when equal of overcap fire resistance. To je zní špatně. Aura from equip shield is doubled, gain no armor from body armor. Tohle tam je velký downside. Ale ta sekerka, ta si myslím, že by teoreticky mohly být nějaký buildy, protože tam weapon physical damage, extra random element, myslím si, že tohle asi nějaký buildy uvidíme a vypadá to fucking cool, jo. Tak, mechanika Mercenaries of Stratus, která nám umožňuje pracovat, jdeme tomu, s kompanioma, petama, jo, my je potkáváme v mapě a mají gear, který teoreticky si můžeme vzít jednu věc z toho, anebo je přijmout, aby nás followovali a postupně i ten gear jim dávat, aby nás buffovali a umožňuje nám dávat určitý ty buffy a tak dále. Takže taková jednodušší mechanika, ale já si nám žádné problémy se poměrně líbí, jsou tam různé možnosti, vezmu si tam, najmu ho a tak dále. Proč ne? Jo, Find Perfect Companion, to je to, co jsem vlastně zmiňoval. Jo, máme uložený, mají super itemy a postupně nás můžou buffovat, takže tak. Dokonce mají nějaký unikátní itemy, které jsou přímo alokovaný na ty mercenaries a padají jenom z nich. Tak. Tak, tady je hermička. Non-instanto. Tady jsou nějaký specifický mody, co můžou být na těch itemech. Skilled used by traps, chain to additional time. Proč ne? Tak i nějaký gemy. Tak, challenge. možná to může být sneak peek toho, že to může, že to jsou challenge tady. Teoreticky asi možná jo. Tak, máme King's March v Coru. Runy v podstatě nám umožňují nahrazovat mastery v talentech. Je to alokovaný, myslím, že jeden ten typ. A byly tam, myslím, že tam budou poměrně zajímavé věci. Takže je třeba si je využijeme jako třeba 40 Increase 40 Global Defenses. Tak, Better Rework, poměrně zásadní rework bych nazval. Katarína, už se savehouse se nechodí tak, aby se dávala Katarína, padne vám medailonek, asi z toho savehouse mám takový pocit, když se zajdete. A Katarína dropuje vlastně velnutý chaosy a all flamey. Jo, all flamey jako takový budou huge. Jo. Jak víme, all flamey dohrál tu ligu Necropolis, all flamey byly velice zábavný, mě bavili. Bere se to jako další slot map deviceu, takže to bude padat z Kataríny. Jo, Katarínu tedy můžete zajít prostě jako fragment, takže což je super. A ty rewardy vlastně budou asi, ty rewardy byly alokované na základě toho boardu, jo. Teďka to bude asi random. Jo, Mastermind now access through new fragments. Chance to drop from Serhal Freezer and no longer reset the state of Immortal Syndicate. The boss fight improves. A to, we also introduce to. Jo, takže asi tam ten rewarding toho, nebo ty místnosti, ty Kataríny budou asi random, ale byly tam poměrně dost craftingu, byl tam alokovaný čas nějakých 190 sekund, což je minuta 30. Takže tam si myslím, že tam bude pestrá volba a mě osobně Betra baví. Já ho rozhodně asi budu hrát znova Gravicius forma. Jo. Takže to je dobrá změna. Quality of life, mapování, nový slot na mapy připravený, které lze pak chodit dát sami z karaby. Proč ne? A support packy. Tak, ukaž ty support packy. Ty máš rare efekt a portál za 30. Ten rare efekt vypadá fakt jak z blíče, to je hodně hustý. Pak tady to pozadí. Tady máš ten armor, tady je creepy česta a tady je tady dostaneš ten device. Jo, tam jsou ta hra tam je vlastně. Jako tady ten se mi velmi líbí, možná by bylo svět ruce. Těžko říct. Tady to už tak pestřejší není. Jiný tak hezky barevné, ale ten armor vypadá dobře. Ten pet taky není špatný, ten armor ale vypadá hezky popracovaný. Se mi líbí. Ten back attachment taky je dobrý. Dobrý. Takže v podstatě to bylo. Oni to vypli? Nebo to, jak to se to dá na toho? Jak to se to na Ziggyho? No, co jsem myslel. Každopádně říká závěr. Jsem překvapený, jsou tam fakt velice pestré věci, velice zajímavé věci a těším se. Liga Atlas expanze bude zajímavá, nabízí to fakt hodně jakože variací těch endgame možností. Za prvé, jo, nový Pinnacle bosse jsou vždy zábavný, já nikdy jsem neměl problém s bossama, někteří jsou pain, že jo. Ten design těch bossů je dobrý, tam nic proti tomu. A ty změny tam jsou dobrý, mechanika ligová jednodušší, ale to je vždycky tak. Následně si myslím, že ta mechanika je zase taková jiná mechanika k těm Atlasu, protože jsme měli rituál, měli jsme metamorf a teďka tady je mercenaries. Takže proč ne? A quality of life, better change, jako já jsem mile překvapen a těším se. Jo, takže každopádně tohle byla reakce na skvělé představení od 3.26. Můžete očekávat další v podstatě další videa ohledně toho kontentu. Jo, nějaký kratičký videjko, kde si pokecáme o tom kontentu, kde já si sbírám víc těch věcí. Jo, určitě co teďka z hlavy, bude určitě ten materiál, jo, postupně tam nějaký vydám, jak budu mít čas, protože pátek je dopryč, středu v večer, tak dále. Takže já jsem překvapený, těším se, každopádně dejte mi vědět, jak se vy těšíte a co vás nejvíce překvapilo. Je to oznámení. Takže děkuji všem a přeji vám hezký zbytek večera.